Jace Veron hated this part of Space. The planet was called Dranix 4, but everyone in the galaxy knew it by another name, the Pit, a place where rules died and people were sold like scrap. Jace had only come here for engine parts. His freighter, the Emberwing, needed repairs fast, and this was the only place nearby with the right tech. He pulled his coat tighter as he stepped into the main bazaar. The air smelled of oil, rot, and something worse, fear. The market was loud, full of shouting. Traders, strange lights, and cages stacked in rows. Inside the cages were people. Most weren't human. Jace tried not to look. He wasn't here for trouble. Just parts. Just a quick deal. But something made him pause. It wasn't a scream or a cry. It was a whisper. By my mom. He turned. A small cage sat near the back, half hidden behind a stack of junk. Inside, a little alien girl stood barefoot in the dust. She was thin, maybe 6 years old, with big glowing violet eyes and silver hair full of knots. Her skin was pale lilac, bruised and dirty. She gripped the bars tightly and looked up at him. Please, human, buy my mom. She feed me, I promise. Jace's heart froze. He took a step closer. Behind the girl, in the shadows, lay another figure, a woman, still and silent. Her wrists were bound. Her body barely moved. Is she alive? Jace asked. The girl nodded quickly. Yes, she's just tired. She needs warmth. She's my mom. A deep voice laughed behind him. Waste of credits, that one. Jace turned to see a thick-bodied slaver with cracked tusks and a metal eye. The alien wore a filthy coat and a wide grin. They've been here weeks, the slaver said. No one wants them. She tried to bite a buyer. The little one? She cries too much. I was gonna toss them to the incinerator by week's end. Jace clenched his fists. You'd burn a child? The slaver shrugged. She ain't a child to me. She's product. You want him? Half price. For both. Jace looked at the girl. Again, she still held the bars, still stared at him, like he was her last chance. Please, she said again, voice shaking. She's all I have, Jace sighed. What species are they? Relari, the slaver replied. Used to be a proud race. Some royal blood, they say now. Just more dirt for the cages. Jace didn't care about royalty. But the way the girl looked at him, it reminded him of a memory he had buried long ago. Earth, the war. A shelter full of orphans. He had been one of them. He checked the creds in his pocket. Barely enough for the engine parts. If he bought them, he'd be stuck. No repairs, no upgrades. Just 2 mouths to feed and more trouble than he needed. But he couldn't walk away. Fine, he said. How much? The slaver looked surprised. Really? You serious? Jace nodded. The slaver licked his lips and spat into his hand. 10,000 for both. 5, Jace said. 7. 6, and throw in a medkit, the slaver growled. Then slapped a button on his belt. The cage unlocked with a buzz. Done, you take him. They're yours now. Jace stepped inside. The girl ran to her mother and gently shook her. Mama, wake up, he bought us, we're free, the woman stirred. Her lips moved weakly. Her eyes fluttered open, strange, glowing white eyes. She tried to rise but collapsed again. Jace knelt beside her and gently lifted her into his arms. She was light. Too light. Starving. As he turned to leave, the slaver called out behind him. Don't say I didn't warn you, human. That one's cursed. You'll regret it. Jace ignored him and walked fast through the market, the little girl holding his hand tight, the mother in his arms. Back at his ship, he placed them both on a cot in the med bay. He opened the slaver's old medkit. Most of it was junk, but there were a few working stimulants. He injected one into the mother's arm. She gasped and twitched, but didn't wake. He turned to the girl. What's your name? Lumi, she said softly. I'm Jace, she nodded. Thank you for saving us, Jace. He looked down at the weak, unconscious woman beside her. He had no idea what to do next. Then the ship's eye suddenly buzzed red. Alert. Illegal lifeform detected. Relari signal. Identified. Threat level. High value. Royal class. Jace stared at the screen as new text appeared. Bounty. 80,000. Credits. Dead or alive. Asterisk. The ship's red alert still blinked. High value royal class. Bounty. 80,000 credits. Jace Varan stared at the screen. That wasn't just a number. That was freedom. Fuel. Repairs. A new life. All he had to do was call the bounty office, send the coordinates, and step aside. But then he heard a sound behind him, a soft sniffle. He turned around. Lumi sat by her mother's side, wiping the older woman's forehead with a torn cloth. Her small hands shook. She looked up at Jace, not scared, not begging, just trusting. He turned off the alert. He wasn't a bounty hunter, not anymore. The Emberwing slipped into low orbit. Engines quiet, lights dimmed. Jace had programmed a long detour to avoid tracking satellites. He hid the girl and her mother in the back storage bay, under crates and old scrap, away from sensors. Lumi didn't complain. She curled up beside her mother, whispering lullabies in a language Jace didn't understand. The mother, Carol, that's what Lumi called her, still hadn't fully woken. Her breathing was shallow, lips cracked. Her skin looked grayish now. The medkit from the slaver was garbage. Jace needed real supplies, but stopping at any public station was a risk. The ship's eye had flagged Carol as royal. That meant she wasn't just rare, she was hunted. If the wrong years heard her name, bounty hunters would come. Fast, Jace checked his ship's food stores. Half a crate of protein paste, 1 water purifier. Not enough. He opened the cold drawer, pulled out a sealed ration pack, and walked back to the storage bay. Lumi looked up, alert as ever. You hungry? He asked gently. She nodded. Jse broke the seal and handed her a spoon. She fed herself a little, then leaned forward and offered a spoonful to her mother. Carol didn't move. She can't eat, Lumi whispered. She's too tired. She needs fluids, Jace muttered, and rest. He touched Carol's forehead. Burning hot. You got a fever, he said softly. But you're safe now. Suddenly Carol's eyes opened. Bright, glowing. Jace pulled back. She grabbed his wrist. Not weak anymore. Her fingers were tight, sharp. Valniru said Jenhalazai. She hissed, her voice deep, powerful. Jace froze. He didn't understand the words, but her voice shook the air. Lumi gasped. No, Mama, he's good. He helped. Takarithing's grip loosened. Her breathing calmed. Her eyes flickered, then closed again. She slipped back into unconsciousness. Jace stepped away slowly, heart pounding. What did she say? He asked. Lumi looked down. She thought you were a hunter. The ones who burned our ship, she said. Don't touch my daughter. Traitor of light. Jace swallowed hard. So Carol had been attacked. Chased. Maybe betrayed. He ran a deeper scan. Her cells were complex, part biological, part energy. Royal Relari weren't just born. They were engineered. No wonder someone had put a price on her. Jse. He stood up and walked back to the cockpit. He needed time to think, options, plans. But the ship didn't care. The nav system blinked again, this time. Yellow, proximity alert. Patrol station in 3,000 clicks. Docking beacon requested. He cursed under his breath. He needed fuel, water, medicine. But if he docked, someone might scan Carol. If that happened, bounty hunters would be the least of their problems. He could lie, use fake IDs, claim he was carrying old tech scrap, still risky. He turned back toward the bay. Lumi sat at her mother's side, softly humming. Then she looked at him again. Will she die, human? Jace knelt down beside her. Not if I can help it. He rerouted the Emberwing to a hidden outpost station, Eon 3, an abandoned fuel rig drifting near an asteroid belt. It was off-grid, long forgotten, but Jace had used it once during a smuggling run. No cameras. No customs. No questions. As the ship docked, he moved Corell carefully onto a hoversled and covered her with a thick blanket. Lumi held her hand the whole time. They entered the station quietly. Dust choked the air. Lights flickered. The medical room was mostly offline, but the auto-diagnoser still worked. Jace placed Corell on the bed. The machine scanned her with a low hum. Then it blinked. Genetic anomaly detected. Regenerative pathways active but blocked. Life signs unstable. Recommend plasma refusion and cellular unbinding serum. Damn, Jace whispered. He didn't have that. No one did, not legally. Lumi touched his sleeve. Is that bad? It's hard to fix. She lowered her head. He watched her. A little girl, thrown into a world of violence and slavery. Still brave enough to smile. Still able to trust. He stood up. I'll find what she needs, whatever it takes. Suspense ending. As he turned to leave the med bay, the station's outer sensor flicked to life. Someone else had arrived. A ship. Small. Fast. Marked with black stripes, a bounty hunter's brand. The old station groaned. JSC. He froze as the screen flickered in front of him, showing a ship silently docking outside. Its frame was black, long, and shaped like a dagger. Painted on its hull was a single red eye, a bounty mark. He turned off the terminal light, locked the medbay door from inside, and whispered, Lumi, hide. The girl quickly slid behind an old cabinet, curling up small. Jace moved to Corell. Her breathing was slow. Her skin still burned with fever, but she was alive for now. Footsteps echoed in the distance. Heavy, careful. One set only. He pulled his old blaster from under his coat and waited near the shadows, heart pounding. He couldn't fight a trained hunter, not alone. Not with two injured refugees behind him. Then nothing. The footsteps stopped. Silence. A few long seconds passed. Jace reached for the monitor again. The ship was still docked. But the life form had vanished from the sensors. A moan behind him broke the silence. Corell stirred, head turning side to side. Her glowing white eyes opened slowly, no longer full of fear, but confusion. Where am I? She whispered, her voice dry, trembling. You're safe, Jace said gently. I got you off Dranix 4. You're aboard an old station now. Corell looked around, trying to sit up. She winced. Her limbs shook. Her voice cracked. The child, Lumi, where is she? I'm here, Mama. Lumi popped out from behind the cabinet and ran to her side. He saved us. Corell looked at Jace again. This time her eyes didn't burn. They softened. You're human. Yes, I thought your kind hunted us. I don't hunt people. Corell looked down, her hand gripping Lumi's tightly. Then, why? Jace hesitated. You were going to die, and she asked. Corell looked at her daughter and slowly smiled. For a moment, the fear on her face melted away. But then, her voice changed. They'll come for us, you know. The moment they know I'm alive. I already know, Jace said. They're here. Corell's face went pale. Stay down. Don't talk too loud, Jace said. You're too weak to move. I'll handle it. No, Corell said, her voice firmer now. You don't understand. You're in more danger than I am. She sat up straighter, despite the pain. My name is Corell Virion. I was once part of the Relari royal nest. My child carries blood that hasn't existed in centuries. It's not about me. They want her. Her? Jace looked at Lumi. She's just a kid. She's not just a child, Corell said. She's what they call a lightburn. Jace blinked. A what? Corell looked at her daughter, brushing hair from her forehead, born with pure line energy. The warlords want her to breed. The scientists want her to study. The dark collectors want her for parts. Jace's hands curled into fists. Frail continued, voice trembling with truth. They killed my mate. Burned our home. We ran. We ran until our ship failed, and the slavers found us. She looked at Jace. I thought I would die in that cage, but she never gave up. She believed someone would come. Jace sat down slowly. She didn't just believe. She made me believe too. Suddenly, the ship shook. A distant clang rang through the metal halls. Frail flinched. Lumi hugged her tight. Jace stood up. He's inside. Frail whispered something in her language and touched Lumi's forehead. A faint shimmer passed over the girl's skin, like invisible armor. She's protected. For a short time, Frail said. I'll buy more than that. Jace muttered. He walked to the door and unlocked it. I need to end this. In the dark hallway, Jace moved silently. The air was cold. Lights flickered above him. His boots tapped gently on the metal floor. No sound, no movement. No enemy. He reached the central control room, empty. Then he saw it, a trail, drops of black fluid on the floor. Not blood. Something else, something ... thick. He followed the drops through a hallway. They led to a sealed maintenance shaft. Jace raised his blaster. Suddenly movement behind him. He spun around. Nothing. A whisper of breath. Then a shadow ran past. Fast. Too fast. Jace ran back toward the medbay, heart racing. He reached the door. It was open. Inside, Lumi was gone. Frail was slumped over the edge of the bed, gasping. He took her. She croaked. He moved like shadow. Jace grabbed his gun and turned to run. Carol held his hand. She's not safe alone. I know, he said. I'll bring her back. Don't just bring her back, Frail whispered. Burn anyone who tries to take her again. Suspense ending. Jace ran through the flickering halls, following the black fluid trail. Then he saw it. The bounty hunter ship was powering up. Inside the window, Lumi was strapped to a chair. She was screaming. Jace, he sighed, he'll cut me open. The bounty hunter's ship rumbled to life. Jace's boots pounded against the metal floor of the station as he sprinted toward the airlock. Inside the enemy vessel, through the narrow viewport, he could see Lumi struggling in a metal chair. Her wrists were bound with glowing cuffs. Her little face twisted in fear. The bounty hunter stood over her, masked and tall, pressing buttons on a device Jace didn't recognize. Jace didn't wait. He jumped. The hunter's ramp was still lowered. He hadn't expected a human to charge his ship barehanded. Jace hit the ramp hard, rolled, and came up behind a crate. His blaster ready. His breath short. Inside, the lights flickered with blue pulses. The ship was powered by some alien core-fast tech. Dangerous. Jace crept forward. Lumi's scream pierced the air again. Please don't cut me. I'll be quiet, I swear. The bounty hunter's voice was calm, flat. You are not a child. You are data, and data must be opened. Jace felt a red wave rise inside him. He kicked the door open. Step away from her. The hunter turned. Slowly, he wore smooth black armor, no symbols, no face. His voice came through a voice box like a hiss. Human, you have no bounty rights here. She's under my protection. She's under contract, Relari Royal Code, she is property. Not anymore. Jace raised his blaster and fired. The bolt hit the bounty hunter in the shoulder, sending sparks flying, but the armor absorbed most of it. The hunter moved fast, too fast. A blade spun from his wrist. Jace ducked as it slashed the air. They clashed in the narrow hall, blaster against blade, brute strength against shadows. The ship rocked with every hit. The bounty hunter grabbed Jace's blaster and crushed it. But Jace didn't stop. He grabbed a broken pipe from the floor and slammed It across the hunter's helmet. The hunter staggered, then stabbed. Jace turned just in time. The blade cut his side, shallow but sharp. Blood ran down his coat. He tackled the hunter backward into the control panel. The lights exploded in a shower of sparks. The ship dropped from hover mode and slammed into the docking bay. Alarms screamed. Inside the cage, Lumi shook with terror. Then dash click. The cuffs unlocked. Jace grabbed her and pulled her behind him, shielding her body with his. The hunter rose again, limping now, but still moving. "You're persistent," he growled. "But you'll die for her." Jace didn't answer. He reached behind him, grabbed a plasma battery from the wall, and slammed it into the control core. Energy pulsed wild. Uncontained. The ship trembled violently. "I don't have to kill you," Jace said. "But the ship, it's done." The hunter turned to flee too late. The energy core exploded behind him, throwing him forward in a flash of white. Jace shielded Lumi as fire burst behind them. He carried her in his arms, sprinting out of the collapsing ship just before the flames reached the fuel line. The bounty hunter's vessel went up like a dying star. They collapsed outside on the station floor. Smoke all around them. Lumi coughed, eyes wide. "You came." Jace smiled through the pain. "Of course I came." She hugged him tight, arms shaking. "You hurt," she whispered. "I've had worse." Back in the medbay, Kirill opened her eyes as they returned. Her hand flew to her chest. "Lumi, I'm okay, Mama." The girl cried, running into her arms. Kirill held her tight. Her body still weak, but her grip strong. "I thought they took you from me again." "No," Jace said. "Not this time." Kirill looked up. Her eyes were full now, not just of fear, but of something else. Respect. Maybe even hope. Later. Jace stitched his own wound in silence. The station was still intact for now, but its systems were burning out. Kirill sat beside him, wrapped in a blanket, watching him with curiosity. "You could have left us," she said quietly. "Sold us. You had the bounty alert." "I don't sell people," Jace said, tightening the bandage on his ribs. Kirill tilted her head. "Then what do you want? Right now? A meal, a bath, and a bed." She smiled for the first time, a small, tired smile. "I'm sorry for what I said when I first woke," she whispered. "I thought all humans were like the ones who chased us." Jace shrugged. "Most aliens think we're all monsters, and yet you shielded my daughter with your own body. Didn't feel like I had a choice. That," she said, "is what makes it real." Suspense ending. Suddenly, the station lights dimmed again. Jace stood quickly. Kirill grabbed Lumi's hand. The station's comms crackled. Then a voice spoke deep, clear and cold. "Unknown vessel detected. Rilari signal confirmed. Prepare for boarding," Kirill whispered. That voice, it's not a bounty hunter. Jace narrowed his eyes at the monitor. "It's a warship." The voice echoed through the station like a hammer in a deep cave. "Unknown vessel. Rilari royal signature confirmed. You have 30 seconds to comply. We are not bounty hunters. We are enforcers." Jace Varan didn't move. He stood in front of the cracked monitor, fists tight, blood still seeping from the wound in his side. His eyes locked on the ship approaching, huge, sharp like a blade, and glowing red beneath its hull. Not just a warship. An executioner class. He turned toward Kirill, who stood with one hand on Lumi's shoulder. The alien woman's face had gone pale again. "That ship," she said quietly. "It belongs to the Rilari regime, the ones who killed my mate. The ones who wiped out our entire bloodline." Jace's voice stayed calm. "How long until they breach?" Kirill stared at the wall. "If they found me here, they won't talk. They'll destroy this station just to be sure. With all of us inside." "Then we don't wait," Jace said. "We run." Kirill shook her head. "My daughter can't survive another crash." Your ship, my ship's alive, he interrupted. And it's got one more fight in it. He turned to Lumi. Sweetheart, you trust me? She nodded quickly. I do. Then get to the Emberwing. Stay low. Don't speak until I say. Lumi grabbed her mother's hand. Kirill hesitated only a second, then followed Jace down the corridor. Inside the Emberwing, sparks still flickered from the power surge earlier. The ship groaned as Jace powered up the engines, voice hoarse from pain and stress. Come on, girl, he whispered to the control panel. Just one more lift. The ship's core rumbled, then steadied. He grinned. She was awake. He turned toward. Kirill, strap in. But Kirill didn't move to a seat. Instead, she placed her hand on the control board. The interface glowed beneath her fingers. What are you doing? Jace asked. She closed her eyes. I'm giving you speed. A burst of energy flowed through the Emberwing's veins. Lights flared blue. The ship jolted faster than before. It was like the freighter had grown wings. Your blood powers ships? Jace asked in disbelief. Only if the ship allows. It, Kirill said. Yours listens. Outside, the enemy warship had stopped pretending. Weapons locked. Countdown. 10, 9, 8. Jace didn't wait. Hold on. He slammed the thrusters. The Emberwing screamed through the docking clamps, breaking free just as the station behind them lit up with fire. The enemy had fired. A blast wave tore through space, but the Emberwing was already gone. Streaking through the asteroid field like lightning, Jace twisted the controls, weaving between floating rocks. The enemy ship followed, faster than expected. They've locked onto us, he muttered. If they land a hit, we're done. Kirill looked at Lumi. Can you hide her? Jace glanced at the girl. Hide her where? Kirill pointed to the cryopod. It's shielded. If we die, she might survive. Someone might find her. No, Jace said. There's no other way. Kirill snapped. There's always another way, Jace growled. Not putting her on ice while I'm still breathing. The ship rattled. A blast grazed the left engine. Warning lights blinked. Shields. 18%. Lumi cried out. I'm scared. Jace looked back. So am I, kid. But scared doesn't mean we stop. He hit a hidden switch under the panel. The Emberwing's belly opened, dropping a trail of metal canisters behind them. What's that? Kirill asked. Scrap fuel cells, he said with a grin. Watch. The enemy ship chased too close. Boom. One of the canisters exploded, ripping through the void with fire. The enemy ship veered, shields flaring. Direct hit. Minor damage. Not enough, but it bought them time. Jace scanned forward. There, radiation belt. If we fly through it, their sensors will fail. We'll lose our own guidance, Kirill warned. I've flown blind before. The Emberwing dove straight into the radiation zone. Lights dimmed. Instruments scrambled. Kirill closed her eyes, guiding the energy flow with her hand again. The ship trembled, but obeyed. Jace held the stick tight. Come on, come on. Then nothing. Silence. Behind them. No sign of the enemy. They were gone. The ship floated quiet in the misty blue cloud. Kirill slumped in her seat, exhausted. Lumi crawled into Jace's lap and hugged him tight. You didn't run away, she whispered. He held her back. No, humans don't run. Kirill looked at him, eyes soft now. You risked everything for someone not your own. Guess that's what makes us different, he said. We don't need blood to make someone ours. Kirill's eyes welled up, but she looked away. Jace stood, checking the system. Where now? She asked. Earth, he said. I know a place where they'll never find you. But we've got to move quiet. Earth won't accept us. Kirill said. They will if I ask, Jace replied. They owe me. As Jace walked back to the controls, the screen blinked. Incoming encrypted message. He opened it. A human voice came through, cold and sharp. Jace Varan, turn over the Alien woman and her child. Earth Command knows what you're carrying. Do not make this difficult. Jace's eyes narrowed. Even Earth was watching. Jace Varan stared at the message on the screen. The words were short, but heavy like a falling asteroid. Turn over the alien woman and her child. Earth Command is watching. Comply or face consequences. He leaned back in the pilot's chair. The stars outside looked quiet. But something had changed. Even Earth's own people were after them now. In the back of the ship, Lumi was asleep under a thermal blanket. She held a little piece of metal in her hand. A broken gear Jace had given her to fidget with. Her chest rose and fell slowly. Kirill stood over her, brushing tangled silver hair from the child's face. Her movements were soft, gentle. She wasn't the same woman who had snarled in fear when she first awoke. Now she was a mother trying to protect what little she had left. She never asked to be born like this. Kirill whispered. Jace didn't answer. She carries something inside her. Something they fear. That's why they chase us. Not because she's a threat, but because they can't control her. Jace turned slowly. And you? What's your story? Kirill looked up. Her glowing eyes reflected the soft cabin light. I was a nestborn, she began. A royal, bred for calm, for guidance. I didn't fight wars. I healed the broken. I blessed births. I wasn't made to run. But the day they killed my mate, burned my temple, branded me a traitor, I ran anyway. Because she was in my arms. She looked down at Lumi. I didn't know how to fight. I just knew I couldn't let her go. Jace watched them for a moment. And you think Earth will kill you both? Not Earth, she said softly. But the people who lead it. Those who trade power for peace. He nodded slowly. They'd rather silence a secret than risk a war. Kirill sat down beside him. Why are you still helping us? She asked. They warned you. You could leave us on any moon and walk away. Jace looked at her, not with pity, not with sympathy, with understanding. I remember what it was. Like to be a child nobody wanted, he said. To look at adults and wonder if any of them would care. He pointed to Lumi. She looked at me the same way. The ember wind coasted through quiet space, hidden in the curve of a dying moon. Jace powered down external systems to avoid detection, but his mind kept racing. If Earth Command was watching, they could be anywhere, any human outpost, any listening satellite. Any patrol ship could be carrying soldiers right now, waiting for him to slip. Still, he sent a coded signal to someone he hadn't spoken to in years. Need a favor. One child, one refugee, need quiet asylum, you still owe me. He didn't know if it would work, but if there was one thing Jace Varan never lost, it was faith in long-shot chances. Lumi woke up a few hours later and crawled onto Jace's lap. Again, why does everyone want to take us? She asked. Ja smiled sadly. Because they're afraid of things they don't understand. She looked up. Are you afraid of me? He shook his head. Not even a little. She reached into her pocket and pulled out something strange, a crystal, small and faintly glowing. I found this in Mama's pocket, she whispered. It sings when I hold it. Jace took it gently. It vibrated in his hand like a heartbeat. What is this? Kirill turned, her voice low. It's her proof. Proof of what? Kirill stood slowly. That she isn't just a royal. She's the last true-born, the last with untampered soul code. Her DNA isn't spliced. It's natural, ancient, pure. Jace understood immediately. She's not just rare. She's impossible. Kirill nodded. That's why they want her. Suddenly, the communication console blinked. Green dot. Response received. Jace tapped the message open. His old contact had replied. You have 2 hours, 1 drop zone, no tracking, no backup. Do not bring the mother. He read it again. Then again. Carol had come closer behind him, reading over his shoulder. They'll take Lumi. she said slowly. But not me. It's the only chance you have, Jay said. Kirill was silent for a long time. Her eyes didn't blink. Then she nodded. Then you go. You take her. I'll stay behind. Jace turned to her. I didn't say that. She met his eyes. You didn't have to. He walked back to Lumi, knelt beside her. We're going somewhere, he said. It's safe. There will be people to help you. Warm beds. Clean water, no cages. Her little hands gripped his shirt. Will you stay with me? He looked into her glowing eyes and lied. Of course I will. As the Ember Wing reached the drop zone, Jace lowered the ramp and a bright blue beam hit the hull. A human military ship uncloaked behind them. The comms buzzed. Jace Varan, this is your last warning. Turn over the girl, or we take her by force. Kirill stepped forward, voice trembling. They won't ask again. The blue beam crackled across the Emberwing's hull, warning shots humming like thunder across the stars. Inside, Jace stood still, fists clenched. Behind him, Kirill gripped Lumi's shoulders tightly. The little girl trembled but stayed quiet. Her glowing eyes stared out the viewport at the Earthship now hovering above them. Jace knew that class of vessel. It wasn't a warship, it was worse. A peace enforcement carrier. The kind sent not to fight, but to erase problems quietly. Comms buzzed again. This is Commander Ren Hawley of Earth Defense. Jace Varan, you are harboring a protected class fugitive. Surrender the child. Do not resist. Jace moved to the controls. Kirill stepped forward. If we run, they'll chase us forever. Jace didn't answer. She touched his hand. You don't have to die for us. He looked at her, really looked. Her face no longer bruised, her voice no longer cracked. There was strength in her now, but still, she was tired. So tired. And Lumi? She just wanted to live. Jay flipped on the external com. His voice was calm. Commander Hawley, I know who you are. You served under Admiral Turo in the Scytha Rebellion. You fought to protect the innocent. There was silence. Then the commander replied, more guarded now. That was a long time ago. You still believe in justice? Depends who's asking. I'm not giving you the girl. Then we'll take her. No, you'll listen first. Jace hit the ships. Projective scan. A 3D image of Lumi's DNA filled the air between them. This child, Jace said, isn't a weapon. She isn't a threat. She's living proof of something older than war, something purer than politics. She's not your enemy. She's what's left of something we forgot how to protect. Kirill watched him, breath caught in her throat. You think Earth will be safer with her locked away? Jace continued. That the galaxy will be calmer if she vanishes into some black lab? He took a step forward, or will we just prove again that humans fear what they should learn from? Commander Hawley didn't reply. But Earth's ship still hovered, weapons charged. Jace leaned into the mic. You fire on me, fine. I'm just one man. You kill her, you'll prove to every species out here that we haven't changed. But if you let us go, maybe the galaxy sees that humans protect the helpless. Even when it's not easy. Even when it costs us. Silence. Then, you've got 1 minute to vanish, Varan. And if anyone asks, we never saw you. Jace stared at the comms in disbelief. Kirill gripped the edge of the console. Lumi whispered, does that mean we're safe? Jace finally let out a breath. Safe enough. He powered the ship's drives and pulled away slowly. No weapons fired. The Earthship faded behind them and vanished from sensors. Hours later, the Emberwing hovered near a forested moon, an unlisted colony, with no towers, no cities, and no warships. Just green sky and quiet peace. Jace carried Lumi down the ramp. She stepped onto the soil barefoot, then looked up at the birds flying over red trees. She smiled for the first time. Not a small smile, a real one. Is this home now? Jace nodded. If you want it to be. Kirill stepped beside them. Her eyes shimmered in the light. She looked at Jace. I never said thank you. You don't have to. I still will. They found shelter in an old stone ruin left by settlers long ago. Solar panels still worked. Water flowed from a hidden spring. Kirill began to heal. Lumi began to laugh. And Jace? He sat under the stars each night, wondering if Earth would ever change, or if people like him would always be the ones forced to remind it what humanity really meant. Weeks passed. One night, Lumi crawled into Jace's lap again. Her arms wrapped around him like always. You're my dad now, she whispered sleepily, even if you didn't know it. Jace's voice cracked. I know it now. Kirill watched them from the doorway. The stars reflected in her eyes. You didn't buy us, she said softly. You rescued us. He looked up at her. You rescued me too. Far above their moon, hidden in deep orbit, a silent probe recorded everything. It sent a ping, just one. On a distant Earth outpost, a screen lit up. Subjects located. A voice in the dark said, he saved her. That's what makes him dangerous. Another voice replied, colder. Then we let him raise her. Let him teach her what humans do. We'll come back when she's ready.